It bit me! Everyone else laughed. Some of the other kids started mocking me, saying I was afraid of a little bundle of daisies. The teacher came up carrying that look of scolding to come, which any student dreaded. She reached for the planter the flowers stood in, and one of them snapped at her, lashing out with the hook-like teeth it had hidden behind its petals. She yelped and jumped backward, barely avoiding the flower's bite. The echoes of laughter stopped in an instant. "Everyone, out into the hall!" She ushered us all out the door at the end of the classroom, carefully eyeing the flowers on each student's desk as we all moved. She flagged down the janitor as he passed by and told him to call the DME. Hearing those 3 letters filled my heart with dread. Those flowers had managed to bite my hand, so what would the Department of Mutant Extermination do with me? I'd heard stories of them taking away people who'd been exposed to mutants, but nothing about them letting those people go. My life, short as it was, flashed before my eyes. I fell back and sat against a wall. What would my parents think? What would the people in the white suits do with me? These thoughts made me nauseated, or was the flower's bite poisonous? My consciousness started slipping away, probably for the better. I didn't want to be awake when whatever gruesome fate I faced came for me. I woke up facing a clean white ceiling. I glanced down and saw a strange contraption on my arm with various tubes running in and out of it. A man in a DME uniform sat on a chair facing me. The hazard suit crackled as he raised his arm and removed the hood. "She doesn't appear to be contagious," he said into a box in his other hand. He glanced my way. "The patient also has woken up. Should I sedate her?" The voice coming back through the handheld radio was a mess, but I could make out a clear no at the beginning. The man hung the device from his belt and approached me. He sat down on a chair beside my bed. "How are you feeling?" I took a moment to collect myself and work up the nerve to answer. "Scared," I finally managed. The man chuckled. "Yeah, so was I when I first got exposed." My eyes widened. "You were exposed? But I thought no one recovered." The man laughed again. "Well, yes and no. Some people recover from exposure or may even get a beneficial mutation. Others, well," his voice droned off. "So, what about me?" My voice trembled as I struggled to speak clearly. "Well, you only got bit by a daisy, right?" I nodded slowly. The man reached for the gizmo on my arm and twisted a dial. "There, that should help. We managed to contain the mutation that bit you, and we determined that it didn't have any sort of venom gland, so the likelihood of you mutating is very slim." He leaned back in his chair. "Even so, it's best if we keep you under observation for about a week. If nothing comes up, you can go home." I still couldn't tell if I should be relieved. "But I heard that no one ever goes home." The man reeled back, his brow tilted. "Whoever told you that didn't share the whole story. Plenty of people go home." Something about his reaction seemed exaggerated. I didn't think I could trust him. "Could I see my parents?" I asked him. The man smiled. "Like I said, your mutation chance is slim and you're not contagious. So yes, they can visit you. Do you want me to call them now?" I nodded. The man left and came back with a phone. Even before handing it to me, I could hear my mom's frantic voice on the line. A week passed by, and I was allowed to leave the DME. I had no signs of any sort of mutation, and I could go home and back to my normal life. Everyone in my class marveled at me, hailed me as the one who came back. Even my bullies distanced themselves from me. A lot of the others were somewhat disappointed that my stay at the DME was so uneventful. A few days later, I paused on my way to the lunchroom to glance through the big window that looked out into a garden on the school grounds. I stepped up to the glass to get a better look at the pretty flowers. Something tapped against the window from outside. A rose's petals shook before it lunged forward, tiny jaws snapping as the sharp teeth hit the transparent surface. I immediately ran back to the classroom to tell my teacher. The infestation at the school wasn't over.